Yo guys, welcome to my new video. It's your bro, Yemi Daniel. Hope you guys are fine. And I think you guys have a very lovely week last week. As I told you guys, I've been on schedule. I got my ass full trying to figure out some stuff, but nevertheless, I'm still trying to be with you guys one way or the other. There's one thing I need to assure you that I'm not gone. I didn't go anywhere. For anybody that's trying to contact me, I'm going to reply to everyone. And for everybody trying to check on me, thank you so much. Okay, with that being said, let's get straight to the week. Okay, this week I really want to talk about what some other peers I'm high in is likely to do. As we can see that the forex market right now is based on some kind of instability, but nevertheless we're trying to get some kind of pips on it. Last week we covered Euro, JPY, and AUD, AUSD. I'll say this week we want to talk about some other foreign currency pairs. We want to talk about. I'm likely gonna check DXY, but not today. Okay, so as we guys know that DXY is likely one of the king of these forex markets. Whatever DXY decide is what all these foreign other currency pairs could actually do. Okay, with that being said, the very first one I'm gonna check this week is gonna be pound USD. Okay, so pound USD, what is likely of pound USD this week? What I see on pound USD is that I'm expecting some kind of major fall on pound USD. I think I talked about that last 2 weeks in my previous video, or probably through my charts. But hold up 1 minute, let me just try to pull up pound USD. Okay, what is pound USD likely gonna do this week, and what did they did last week? Last week I talked about pound USD going down at this major level. You guys can go back to my I think it's my commentary on any of my videos, or probably the chat I dropped. I don't know if I do that. Okay, but let's just forget about that for now. What is likely of pound USD going to do? Okay, I talked about pound USD sell right from this area. I talked about pound USD sell right from this area. What is the main reason why I said we're looking out for sell around this area? Number one reason is that we can, if you look back to the left, you definitely can see, but back in this area, we can see where this order was filled and this market dip all the way to the downside. Right from this area was where we have some kind of institution footprint right there. So when price approaches institutional footprint, we can actually see that market is trying to respect it, trying to fill some orders right there, and likely what's pushed to the downside right from this point. Okay, that is one reason why we should be looking at for sell around that area. Another reason why we should be looking at for sell around this area is based of this support, resistance area that we have close by into this level. Checking back to the past and see reaction of what prices anytime they get back into this area, you guys can see that we get some kind of soil right here. We get the market respect this area, market came back into it right here, and the same thing doing right here. And if you look back into this area also, they did the same thing to the sell to make the market come down. Now let's check more again. You can actually see around this area, if you extend this box all the way like this, you can tell all what market always does around that area when they approach that spot. That is the second reason why we might looking at for sell around that area. Okay, the third reason why we're looking at for sell around the area is probably if I'm trying to prove some kind of trend line right here from here to this point, I can actually see that there's some kind of horizontal trend line been trying to respect around this area. The price can actually respect this trend line also. The another reason is fib that I got right there, talking about an ABCD fib pattern whereby we got from movements from this point to this point. Then I can see that we have some kind of reaction around this area, which is the 618, then back to the negative 618 right there. That is an ABCD pattern, and also a golden fib level right there. Talking about ABCD pattern, I think most of you is well aware of what ABCD pattern means. The length of A to B is equals to what C to D. We got an input right here, the market came back all the way back into this point and give us the next leg all the way back into that area to look out for more sell. Talking about, let's try to put some kind of fib from this point, bring it all the way to this high. What do we have right there? We can see we got the market came all the way to the 30.2 around this area, and what fib level are they trying to respect at the top, which happens to be what the fib level we're trying to respect happens to fall around the word negative 0.04. So we have fib cluster of negative 0.04 and we have 0.06 right here, talking about this fib. So I am looking at for sell around where this market is right now. The highest point the market can come to should be this high, should in case they want to come and respect this high, which is going to fall around the negative 618 of the last fib I just take out right there. So now what am I expecting? I'm looking out for some kind of pushback into this area. Something like this is what I'm expecting. Maybe I can get some kind of pushback down, then I get price rallying all the way back to the downside. What I consider here is what's my target. That is what I'm looking out for. Whenever I know my target in the market, then I can actually know how to dance around it for entries. So this is my target area. This is where I expect price to come back to, should in case they actually do the drop for you. We're still talking about pound USD on the daily time frame. So I'm looking out for what a nice push back into this area for more sell. But overall, what I'm looking out for on this pair is what drop to the downside. So now let's talk about the 4-hour time frame just to see whether we can get some kind of entry. Where I can get some kind of entry on the H4. So on the H4, what do you have right there? I can still see that this is what the market is doing. We're talking about support and resistance. Talking about support and resistance on the H4. Where do I have a main support right there? I can find one right here. Why there's one above right here. Okay, so talking about what price is likely to do this week, we might get a pushback into this area, or maybe this either of these one for more sell. The moment you get price coming back to that area, you can watch out for it and see if you can get your sell entry. Talking about something like this, maybe price can come back into this area or probably this area and make their way back into this low. Now let's talk about trend line to see whether we can get some kind of trend line for conservative entry and not aggressive entry. Putting this chair right there, should in case you're not being on charts when price push to the upside and all you can just see is price trying to break out of this trend line, then you guys can actually wait for a conservative entry, getting what price break this trend line and give you a nice retest to the downside. So which is going to be what something like this, which is going to be something like this. Should in case price do something like this and come back into this area, break above it, give us a slight retest, you can sell to the downside. Maybe on Tuesday I'm going to follow up and see the updates on this one. But what I'm looking at for on pound USD is sell. The next thing I'm looking at for is euro USD. Same setup is what I'm looking at for on euro USD. On euro USD, which is the fiber, I'm looking out for what? I'm looking at for sell also. Sell based on what previous reaction in the past, as I explained on euro and as I explained on pound USD, which is cable. Previous reaction right there. I'm looking out for same thing right here. Number one reason is that. Number two reason is prior to this daily length movement from here without a deep retracement. I'm looking out for nice retracement right there. There's some sort of distribution right here also. I'm expecting price to give us some kind of nice sell around that point. So what I'm looking at for on this pair is this. I'm looking at for shy pull up somewhere right here, or then come all the way down, or we can just get some kind of slight movement like this and make price to down. So where's my target? I'm targeting the 618 of this movement, which happens to fall at which area? You want to put a fib right from this low back to that top. So that is what I know of euro USD. It's going to drop, so you put a fib from here back to this top. I'm looking out for this 618 back into this support area. So whatever sell entry guys are looking out for around this area should be all the way back into this 618 fib area. So number one entry should be probably back into this region, then sell up to this area, or if they break right here, give us a slight test and give us back into that area. Let's check the H4 just to see if you can get something different right there. Now talking about the H4, what is likely that to do? Let's try to place a trend line. Let's try to place a trend line back from this area. Then we take it all the way to the top. This is what we have. So now if you're looking at a conservative entry, you can actually get it right at the break and retest of this TL. Break and retest of this TL doesn't bad out to look out for entry. And also what I think this is gonna do is that they're gonna respect some kind of lows right here. Talking about something like this. This is what they're gonna do. This is what they're likely gonna do. Maybe we're gonna get something like this, then push price back into regions right here, or back into a levels right here, then bring price back into the downside. So if you want to look out for long, you can start trying to get long right here, then bring price back into some areas right here and get them back to the downside. Then you want to place a fib from this top, bring it all the way to this downside, wherever the low happens to be, and watch out for the 618 region to bring price down. So I'm targeting this previous highs. I'm targeting these areas to see reaction in case price wants to come back into that area for sell. Or I get a break and retest of this trend line right there and bring price to the downside. The next pair I'm going to talk about is going to be the Aussie and the AZ. I want to talk about Aussie AUD USD. So talking about the AUD USD, I talked about last week on what we're likely gonna see, and last week was full of pips for me because I actually caught the two pairs I talked about, which is Aussie USD and Euro USD, Euro JPY. Now talking about the Aussie USD, what is likely of Aussie USD gonna do? This is what I talked about on Aussie USD. I made mention of sell coming up on that also. I made mention of sell coming up on this pair, which likely occurred last week. So, and the reason behind that is based on past reaction also and levels you can actually see right there, and high movement of long bull run. So we're expecting some kind of short movement like an retracement to play out nicely. So I talked about this, like you can want to look out for some kind of entry right here. This is all distribution. So price is distributing right there for some kind of sell occurring. So I don't want to talk much on this. You can go back to my analysis on last week. So likely we might get something like this and get price coming all the way to the downside. There's one thing I'm going to tell you, they said it's going to occur, but if you're not being patient, you would likely miss the whole move on all these pairs that I talked about. So this is a reversal pattern trying to form. You can get a break on the test of this TL or wait for a nice push top, and if you are in the entry, move your stop loss to break even. The next pair I'm going to talk about is going to be and well, another reason why I talked about this pair coming all the way down is because of a shark pattern I made mention of last week or so. There's a nice pattern around this area that played out perfectly and gives a lot of pips. So at this area I'm looking at for sell. At this distribution area I'm looking at for sell. All I'm going to care about is what's going to be patterns right there that can give me sell entries around that area. So one of the patterns that occurred last week that gave me sell entry was actually a pattern like this, which is one I saw this kind of pattern also playing out on a Aussie NZD, which I'm going to show later on. So this pattern is actually playing out right now. So I can actually anticipate some kind of push back up a little bit, maybe back into some kind of region right here, which is going to give us some kind of mitigation or something like that for more sell. Should in case price get back into this area, then we can actually anticipate a nice pattern or two right there for the big sell to play out. Talking about the 88.6 from this length to this length, the 88.6 fib area is going to anticipate. The price gets back to that area, you actually want to sell again. That's for Aussie USD. The next one I'll talk about is Aussie NZD. Aussie NZD, I feel some kind of movement trying to play out right there. So I'm so much interested in this pair right now, because the only thing I can see right there is that I can see a pattern that just filled, and I want to take the sell on that pattern. What is the pattern that just filled? It is a nice sharp pattern, and which is this. From this mere top, if you bring your feet back into this first retracement, you can see what we have. We have 38.2 retracement back here. Then we got the negative 414 right there. So this actually indicates what a nice sharp pattern. If you place this fib back to the low, we can see we have what the 1.113 fib right here, which is what the nice sharp pattern formation. So this is the pattern that I have right here, and I can just see the confirmation of the pattern flying to play out right there, which is consolidation. This is going to be a daily wing pattern trying to form. So right here I'm anticipating what a nice big sell trying to play out right on this pair also. So bring a feed back into this area. You can see what price is going to do, and this is a nice consolidation trying to form on a daily time frame. Where is the target going to be? If you're going to take this kind of pattern, then you want target all the way to the 618 of this movement right here where I have down here. So I am looking out for sell on this. I'm likely going to get my entry this week, hopefully. So if you place a trend line on this also, this is going to be a conservative one though. So on this one I'm looking out for sell. There's no more confluence that I got right now, if not for what this harmonic pattern that I'm looking out for on this one. Let's just check the H4 just to see if there's any other confluence that could actually be playing out for the sell also. So if you want to catch this kind of sell, you might stay on being a conservative entry. Probably want to be patient enough, or you want to be an aggressive trader. Either of the two, you can just catch the sell right there. So what I'm gonna wait for right now is this. I'm definitely gonna wait for price to come back into some kind of region. There's a nice fib right here. Let me say I'm trying to place a fib from this point, bring it all the way to the downside. Then I will be watching what to see if price can come back into any region 618 to the all the way to the 8.6 above that area for nice sell. But on this one, all I care about now is what? Sell entry. I'm looking at a sell entry on this NZD card. Same thing on NZD card. Okay, so NZD card is quite different. What I'm looking at for on NZD card right now is what? I want to see some kind of push back up on NZD card. So I want to see something like this trying to play out. Maybe price can come back because based on this reaction support area, maybe price can come back into this level before I see more sell around that area. I want to place a fee from year to year. Then I want to see around the 618 to see reaction of what price can do back into this 618 area before some kind of sell now to continue to play out. So on NZD card, I'm looking out for some kind of slight push up. If price hold this level, then it's gonna push up. If price doesn't hold the level, we're gonna get something like this playing out. A break below, a slight test, then continuation to the downside. That goes for NZD card, not just so just a simple setup. The next one I want to talk about is Euro JPY. What is likely of Euro JPY this week? Last week I talked about Euro JPY giving us some kind of sell entry, and now this week let's see what Euro JPY is likely going to do for the week. Okay, talking about Euro JPY, I made mention of this PS sell also last week, and only those who are able to call it called it. So talking about the previous reaction of the past right here, we can see reaction of what price did, and price went likely back into that area. So what am I looking at for on this pair for the week? I'm anticipating some kind of one-to-one movement, which is this. Place a fib from here to the upside. Let's see what fib level they get. They went all the way to the 50 fib and they want to respect the negative 272. That is what I think they might likely want to respect. Negative 272 is a very tangible fib area, and they might just drop from where they are. So in case price pushed back again into this level, I might look out for more sell to the downside. And if they break this trend line, it's going to give me a conservative entry for more sell to the downside. A conservative entry for more sell to the downside. So I think on this one, all you need to be is you want to be patient. So in case you get something like this, you can sell more back into this region, because right here we had some kind of orders right there. So price can still do something like this for you, then come all the way to the downside. You just want to watch. So on this, I still want to see sales trying to play out. So is either they come back into this region or they just break on the test of this area. Okay, with that being said, that's gonna be all for this week. Probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to give some another recording based on updates on all these players that I talked about. Okay, all guys, I'm just gonna call it a day for now. I hope you guys have a nice trading week ahead of you. And there's one thing I want you guys to know: you always want to avoid over trading. The more you trade, the high chance of you likely to lose. So let your trade be lesser, and take be so much patient before you get into a trade. The trade is not going to go anywhere. The first market is going to be there 100 years to come. Every more years to come, the first market is going to be there. So you want to be what? You want to be patient and make your money when it is the right time. Do not be in a rush to take a trade. Okay, guys, with all being said, I hope you guys have a very good trading week. Stay safe. COVID-19 is real.